There's Bitcoin zoomed out on the daily chart. You want to see a bullish scenario playing out. You can see it right there in that bars pattern in yellow. I want to discuss that potential move, a continuation for Bitcoin to the upside. It's already happened multiple times since the bottom of the bear market, and we have some on-chain metrics that kind of tie into this story. So it's going to be kind of an exciting video. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into it. This is Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, right around $61,600, approaching 62. We'll see if it can get there. As a general rule of thumb over the years, I've just kind of been like in bullish environments when Bitcoin's just crazy overheated, you think it's going to keep going. It's just always a safe play for me to be like, you know what? It's probably almost over. It might not be, but just mentally. And when Bitcoin is falling and we think that Bitcoin's bouncing finally and it's done falling, it's always a good, safe play for me mentally just to be like, you know what? This always lasts a little bit longer than anticipated. So right now, I'm going to talk about upside. Bitcoin could be bouncing, but there is definitely just room for downside right now to go a little bit longer to the downside. And I want to just discuss that as well. But we're definitely going to look at this bullish move to the upside and the actual ultimate bounce. So what I want to discuss first, before we dive into this kind of confluence of on-chain metrics, I want to just point something out. The technical move, a key technical move that has happened recently on the daily is a 20-day below the 50, right there. This is just a picture of consolidation. This is a picture of, so far, higher low in an uptrend for Bitcoin. And if we actually go back to the beginning of the bear market, and these are actually important data points anyway, which we're going to look at, you can just see this 20-day crossing below the 50 there, 1, 20-day below the 50, 2, 20-day below the 50, 3, and then this continues, right? Number 4 over here, you can see 20 below the 50 in January, the beginning of 2024. And now it's happening again. This, from just a very surface level, is not the beginning of a bear market. This indicator, that's not what that's saying. This is just a daily chart. Bitcoin was overheated on the daily before the halving even, and has been doing historic things like breaking all-time high before the halving. This picture of consolidation is so normal. But what's really cool is I noticed recently On-Chain College over here discussing, this was from 2 days ago, which is important. The Bitcoin price is now below the short-term holder cost basis for the first time since October 2023. If you've been following me over the years, you know that the short-term holder cost basis acts as support during bull periods and resistance during bear periods. So here it is. A quick move through the 59.6 level would be bullish and comparable to the one scenario on the chart. So you see this number 1 back here would be similar to, it's a higher low type of environment for Bitcoin if Bitcoin can get back above the 59.6 level. And a sustained period below, aka chop, before returning above would also be bullish for the bull run, similar to scenario 2. These data points are data points we just looked at on the daily chart for Bitcoin. So if we go over these higher low environments, this is what he's basically talking about. Now, that was from 2 days ago. And as we see right now, Bitcoin is above that price, right? Here's from yesterday even. He's talking about this continually. Bitcoin's price is now consolidating under, right, the STHCB, which is currently at 59.4. A very important battle is occurring now. So as I'm doing this video, once again, Bitcoin, around a day later, is back above. And this yellow line is essentially that technical area that he's talking about. And Bitcoin, if we zoom in on the daily, you can see is above that area. So I thought it very interesting that these higher highs and higher lows that we've been seeing in this market has kind of an overlap of on-chain metrics that On-Chain College is talking about, which is the STHCB, the short-term holder cost basis. So we have a couple things now to watch for. And if I go back to the daily chart, we can really start getting a sense of what continuation would look like for Bitcoin. Number 1, that area, this first red line that you see here, staying above that area, higher highs and higher lows above that area. And then I'm going to remove this yellow bars pattern for a moment, but we'll get back to it, and we're going to talk about the continued bullish move for Bitcoin. If we look at this, what I want to show you is the 20-day moving average is currently around $63,400. Now, if we go back and we just look at the last higher low for Bitcoin back here when Bitcoin was making this 20-day moving average below the 50-day moving average, and it bottomed out. Check this out. This swing low on the RSI setting up to look very similar to the swing low on the RSI right here. And if we look at this now, we take our bars pattern from that swing low and we say, you know what? That on-chain metrics data point looking really solid. Bitcoin above that area that he was talking about, around 59,400. We're closing daily candles above. Let's say Bitcoin's bottoming out in this higher low environment, similar to last time, and it's going to make a next leg up. It doesn't have to look exactly the same as this fractal here, but you can just see potentially this could be what it looks like for Bitcoin to see continuation. And one thing I really want to make a note of is the very fact that if we zoom all the way out on this daily chart, you can see Bitcoin in this rising wedge, breaking out of the rising wedge in February, revisiting almost perfectly the apex. So if we're getting a technical move there as well, which is this incredibly commonplace for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin could just bounce off of this area after that nice throwback to the apex of that rising wedge, and just zoomed in a little bit. Here it is, right? Just nice throwback, and then continuation, $85,000 target to the upside. And you can even see on this fractal that starts acting as support potentially for Bitcoin after its next consolidation. But again, that's incredibly speculative, but this could be essentially what the next leg up looks like for Bitcoin. And we're really in this environment now where, from a macro perspective, this could be the play. A lot of people might be saying, you know what, this just looks like the top of a bull market. But I continually say this. It looks like something like this. It does. But we have to realize where we are in the cycles right now. This move is way more similar to back last cycle, this move, right? When it was basically an all-time high territory from the previous cycle, just after the halving. And even more so to this move, I would say, which was post 2016 halving, kind of right here, big retrace, testing that all-time high. And I've been talking about this. So it's where we are in the cycles. Where we are in the cycles, it's not here, the top of the bull market 2017. It's not similar from a timeline perspective right here, the top of the last bull market. The Bitcoin halving just happened. I think we're at the start of a new cycle, a bull cycle for Bitcoin. So when it comes to things like altcoin season, I think we're still probably months away from altcoin season, and we're just now getting started. So we need higher lows. We need weeks of red candles on the Bitcoin charts for consolidation. Look at this move to the 20-week moving average. Now, in terms of consolidation, I mentioned last night's video, I think there still is a play. Bitcoin could fail at the 20-day, right? And Bitcoin could fall back down. And we might be testing again below this area, on-chain college, talking about the short-term holder cost basis. We might fall back below on the daily chart. And I think it's always a good idea to anticipate potential downside, because this could be a lower high on the shorter-term Bitcoin charts on the daily. Bitcoin could fall lower, get a little bit closer to its technical target out of the symmetrical triangle, which is in the lower 50s. And we could see Bitcoin just falling and testing. Here's the 20-week moving average illustrated on the daily chart, that we're on a daily chart, but this is where the 20-week moving average is, around 55,400 or so. Bitcoin could fall to that area before bottoming out, and then we're bottoming out. So again, sometimes it lasts a little bit longer than we might think. We might think it's done, it's over, Bitcoin's bottoming out, but actually Bitcoin might actually fall lower in price. Maybe we get a higher low on the RSI, some bullish divergence, and then it's bottoming out, maybe mid-May, maybe end of May. I like to anticipate downside. What I do know is there's a ton of room for upside, and even some just on-chain metrics like this short-term holder cost basis chart, for instance, suggests we might be in a higher low environment similar to what we had prior, right? In the exit of the bear market, essentially, on this weekly chart. So I wanted to kind of bring all this together. Going to continue watching Bitcoin. My true area I'm watching for Bitcoin is, can it get above the 20-day moving average around $63,500 or so, and the 50-day moving average around $66,200, $300. That's an area that we really want to see Bitcoin get back above. You can just see getting above those moving averages is critical in continuation of the bull market of higher highs, higher lows. So that's what I'll be watching in the short term. Appreciate you all watching. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Turn notifications on. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.